easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday, put it together and we'll get it all done. Someday, when the world is much lighter. Someday, we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday, when your head is much lighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Oh, child, things will get brighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Oh, child, things will get brighter. Someday, we'll put it together and we'll get it all done. Someday, when your head is much lighter. Someday, walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday, when the world is much lighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Oh, things will get brighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Oh, child, things will get brighter.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, everyone, for coming for our first outdoor service. You know, my heart is really full right now because I'm just so grateful for your support. I'm so grateful for this community supporting this ministry, and you've done a really wonderful job. And I'm grateful for that, even with the heat and the humidity, you're out here tonight. And my promise is that we're going to keep this ministry growing, and we're going to keep it thriving. You haven't seen anything yet. You know, Tonight we're going to award one of our scholarships for the Venus Manley Scholarship Program, and you know, I love that. But that's just, you know, that's just one of the things that we do. We've got a great kids program. We're donating. We donated over $2,000 to the St. John's Food Pantry because people are in such need right now. The gentleman that runs that, he told me, he says, Ken, he says, we're giving out in 2 days the amount of food that we would normally give out in a week. We're also making contributions to the Betty Griffith House because we know in this time of challenges that families are facing, you know, more stress and more strain and more violence. And we're going to step up and we're going to do our part. And I'm grateful that you're stepping up and doing your part. So just show of hands, because we had a 2-hour board session this morning, so I know they'll be interested. How many of you would like us to continue the Sunday evening service? Just show of hands. All right. Is Sunday evening or a Sunday morning? How many would like a Sunday morning over a Sunday evening? Okay. All right. How many of you would enjoy if we had a food truck that came to provide food and drinks and stuff like that? All right, that's interesting to know. So please sign in. We want to be able to track anybody just in case somebody gets sick. We want to be able to make sure that we can have that information. It's just kind of a prudent thing to do. It's called being smart. Now, we're not going to have a call to donations, but you see that big porcelain bowl over there? Joy is pointing to it. If you'd like to make a contribution, that's where you can put it in. You can also text a donation. Don't call, text it. It's to 904-447-1171. And you can make a donation that way. It's really easy once you set it up. So those are my announcements. To get us started, let's have an affirmative prayer. And I can't think of anybody to do a better one than Jim Saul. Come on up, Jim.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I practiced that all week because usually it's good morning, and I knew I was going to make a mistake if I didn't. So it's wonderful to see you all here. I turned down the air conditioning and it should cool off any minute. So let's begin with an affirmative prayer. I would ask that you close your eyes, sit back, take a deep breath or two, and just feel the energy that's around us. It's a divine energy, a God energy, a beautiful, loving, supportive energy that is everywhere present. I give thanks for that energy, and it gives me choice. It gives me a choice in what I think, do, and say. And so this morning, or this evening, I know that each and every one of us here can let go of a little bit of fear, a little bit of discouragement, a little bit of their isolation, and accept that the divine consciousness is always available to us, that it supports us and loves us. And I know that each and every one of us can find this beauty within the storm of this virus, that we can find a beauty within isolation. God is everywhere present, and we can find it anywhere. And I know that we can do that this evening. I am grateful for this center. It has supported me for more than 30 years. I appreciate and know that this center does good, not just for me, but for anyone who is of open heart and open mind. And so I would ask you to accept that good, accept that beauty and love and compassion that we all have and that we're willing to share. I give thanks for this center, I give thanks for each person here, and I give thanks for the divine intelligence that guides us each and every step. And I can release this prayer simply and easily by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Jim. That was wonderful. You know, one of the most inspiring things that happens each year is we make scholarships. We give out scholarships to the Venus Manley Scholarship Program. And this started several years ago when the Manleys lost their dear angel, Venus. And at first we wanted to have a scholarship, and we were giving out scholarships to kids who were doing really well. But then we thought about it and we thought, well, you know, wouldn't it be wonderful to give out scholarships to kids who've had challenges like Venus did? Because when Venus had her challenge, she really wanted to learn and she really wanted to excel. And so that's what we've been doing for a couple of years now. And I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very fortunate and blessed really overall, because I have so many people who work so hard to put our center on and to keep our ministry going. But one person that works very, very hard and does an excellent job with our youth program, but also with our scholarship program, is Dr. Tangela Manley. And she's going to come up now and she's going to award one of the scholarships. Because please come up, Dr. Manley.
Do I use this as my podium?
Sure.
I am so excited about being outside. Well, actually I go outside, but I don't go much further than my yard. So I'm so happy to be here. You really have to understand that I have been stuck in that house for months. And I'm so happy to see you all. It's so good to see you all. I wanted to share something with you before I tell you about the Venus Manley Scholarship and our winner. We still have our youth program going on Sunday mornings. We do a virtual youth lesson, and the kids really seem to enjoy it. So we do a lot of fun things. We do a lot of visualization, exercises, and we do the best we can within the confines of the virtual space.
Tell them what you did this morning.
Okay, that's what I'm going to tell. So, well, first thing is Ted and I went to the county to get our COVID test last week. And since we were the last ones, they gave us about 30 masks. And I said, okay, I can do something with these masks. So I sent them out to all of our kids and said, now create something that will be unique for yourself. And unfortunately, the Postal Service didn't get them to the kids in time, so no one had theirs ready besides me. And I did this wonderful mask. I hope you like it. It's creative. What do you think? So today and this morning we did a really interesting visualization service. We were doing a space ride. And you know, we're doing a lot of more ideas on how to get them to be creative and think creatively and then put themselves into the idea. So today we launched off, and they were really excited by that. So I would love it if you give me more ideas and more creative things we can do, and let's also just encourage more kids to come and join us. The newsletter, the e-blessing will have the link, and they can come. They don't have to call me. They don't have to make a reservation. They can just join us. Okay? Now, I want to just share real briefly our process for the Venus Manley Scholarship because, like Reverend Ken says, this is the most exciting thing that we do all year. It's exciting because we get to engage with the schools. And this last year, Ted went to a lot of the schools and met with the teachers and principals. And the year before that, we met with them as well. And that's one of the ways we can also get our center out there and more visible. So we got 6 applicants this year, and we had some really amazing applicants and some really amazing essays. And what I find most interesting about the applicants are the recommendation letters. You know, the kids can say what they want to say about themselves, but the people who send them recommendations, their supporters, just say the most glowing things about them. And our winner that we're awarding today, Miss Kamea Barker May, as she calls herself, is just a star at Creekside High School, or was a star at Creekside High School. She was in the National English Honor Society, and she was just in all kinds of extracurricular activities. And when she came and presented to us on our virtual interview, she was just stunning. And we all agreed that she was just one of the kind of people who we'd like to have as one of our ambassadors for the Venus Manley Scholarship Program. So I want to bring Kamea up, and I'd like to present this certificate to you. Would you come on up, Kamea? And I'm going to be very distant from you, so forgive me. But I'd like to give you this certificate, and obviously we're going to give you the check and some other goodies, just to award you for the Venus Manley Scholarship for the 2020 year. And I hope that you can use those funds to help yourself to maybe buy some new computer equipment, clothes, travel to your school, and whatever you need. By the way, Kamea is going to be going to the Ohio State University. So she's a real star. So congratulations, Kamea. Would you turn that around so Ted can take a picture of you? Would you take your mask off so we can get a really nice picture of you?
Thank you.
Okay. So, would you like to say something to our members? Okay. These are for you. So when you leave the podium area, you can take those with you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for
for this award, and I'd want to say that was a beautiful prayer earlier, and this is my first time coming here, and I already love it. You seem like a wonderful group of people, and a very welcoming group of people, and I am so honored that I get to be a part of this. I planned to read a bit of the essay that I wrote. And it's just an excerpt. There are people who are similar to me, yet are not just surviving, but thriving in who they are. Knowing this gave me strength to keep fighting and wisdom to know when to ask for help in the fight. I consider it a privilege to pass on that strength and wisdom to others. I know that there are so many who have not had access to the resources that have helped me succeed. I want to spend the rest of my life advocating for social and mental health so that the people most vulnerable have access to resources that will allow for them to thrive. Even more so, I want them to know that they are not alone, that they are not forgotten, and that their voices matter, their stories matter. I want to empower them to do the very best for themselves and their families, because they are deserving of the very best. Most importantly, I want them to know that even if it seems like no one cares for them, there is someone who cares deeply for them, who loves them, and is cheering them on. In whatever I do, I want to walk away knowing I've made someone's life better. As a writer, I will speak to others in ways that only art can, reaching across different backgrounds and circumstances to touch souls. As a social worker, I want to confront real-world problems, whether they are widespread social issues or the unique challenges an individual may face. This world is far from perfect, but I am hopeful that it can be made a little better for one person at a time. Each heart healed, each life restored, and each hardship overcome will set the world back on its axis and bring us closer in ways that will change the world.
Maya, would you take this with you?
Thank you, Dr. Manley. Thank you, Kamea. You can all see how much we were impressed with her. Kamea, I'm sorry we're in this environment, because normally when we have the scholarship winners, they stay around afterwards. People just kind of gather up and hug them and bless them, and I know we have to do that at a safe distances. But I also tell people, remind them that when I was in college many years ago, that I used to have a favorite aunt, and when she'd get around me and she'd know I was headed to college, she would slip me a little extra money, you know, a 10 or a 20 to help my college expenses. So I think we can embrace May in that way too. Slip her a little extra money if you've got a little extra in your pocket. Now I'm going to be like Reverend Ike. You know, Reverend Ike used to tell his parishioners, it's not getting close to Christmas time, so I don't want to hear any jingling and jangling. I want some quiet, soft money going to May, because she's going up to Ohio State, and we want her going up there. We don't want those northern girls, you know, out dressing her or anything, and she's going to need some good warm clothes. I asked her about that. I said, now, May, you're in Florida, you know, you're down here in Florida, are you going to be used to that? And she says, I love cold weather. So I know she's going to go up there, and we're going to be hearing about this young lady, and we're going to be hearing great things. She's brilliant, her heart is full. So if you'd like to show her a little bit extra support, that, coming from my heart, I would love that. So thank you, May. Thank you for coming. Give them a song you like to sing.
I could tell the world. Maybe I'll take this mask off. What do you think? Let's try that again. If I could tell the world just one thing, it would be we're all okay. Not to worry, because worry is wasteful and useless in times like these. Won't be made useless, won't be idle with despair. Gather myself around my faith. Light is the darkness most feared. These hands are small, I know, and they are not yours. They are my goal, and they are not yours. They are my goal, and I am never broken. Poverty stole your golden shoes. You know it didn't steal your laughter. Heartache came to visit me. Knew it wasn't ever after. We will fight. If we fight, someone must stand up for what's right. Where there's a man who has no voice, there I will go singing. These hands are small, I know, but they are not yours. They are my own, and they are not yours. They are my own, and I am never broken. In the end, only kindness matters. In the end, only kindness matters. These hands are small, I know, but they are not yours. They are my goal. They are not yours. They are my goal, and I am never broken. These hands are small, I know, but they are not yours. They are my own. They are not yours. They are my own, and I am never broken.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's really lovely. Well, my talk tonight is about the heat and the humidity. We decided we were going to have this outdoor service because we really felt that we needed to keep our community together and active and moving. And we thought that if we played by the rules, that we would be okay. And so the rules were to be outside, to wear a mask. You can see, I think I have a very fashionable one myself. We've got a smart alecky neighbor, and she told me that I look like a male stripper with my mask on. I think she had been drinking, but you know, it's okay. So I think if we sit apart, we wear our lawn chairs, and of course bring your coolers if you like something cold to drink. We're going to have some great music. I think this can be a lot of fun, and I think that we can grow from this. Of course, we're still going to have our online service in the morning, so this is just going to be an additional thing to it. I guess this outdoor service really is a manifestation of a fear that I've always had, that at some point in my life I was going to end up a tent revivalist preacher. My teacher, Kennedy Schultz, he taught to a congregation of 700. And he taught in Symphony Hall in Atlanta, and it was a big, huge, beautiful theater. It probably was one of the nicest stages in Atlanta. And he wore $1,000 suits. He would only shop at Neiman Marcus, and so he wore these beautiful suits. And that's a really lovely experience. I would have liked to, there's part of that experience that I would have liked to have had, and I did get to speak on that stage several times. But you know, life changes. That church is no longer at that theater. And you know, here today or tonight, I find myself out in a Hawaiian suit or shirt that he wouldn't have been caught dead in. And you know, in heat and humidity. But this is what happens. We have to work with what's in front of us. And we're called to make the best of what's in front of us. And the best way we can do it is to deal with it and not to complain. I told the board that if I heard any complaints about the heat or humidity, that I was going to do what one of my female ministers, she was a little bit older than I, she told me, she said about congregants that cause to complain too much. She said, you know, Ken, she says, sometimes you just have to offer them the right foot of fellowship. I don't think I want to kick that high, but I understand the sentiment. Because it is June in St. Augustine, we're going to have heat, we're going to have humidity, and we're going to have bugs. That's just the reality of it. And we have to deal with it the best we can and make the most from it. Because if we do that, we keep a channel open of how we can have better ideas come to us. If we complain about stuff, we just get more stuff to complain about. And we are all in need of a better idea right now. My goal is tonight is that not a single person leaves here without knowing that the goodness and mercy of God is flowing through them and with them and for them, for you. And it's up to us to put that to work in our lives. Because if we don't put it to work, it will just flow on to another outlet. It's perfect intelligence, and if we don't use it, it will find an outlet that will use it. It will waste neither time nor energy on us. It will just go in another direction. So we want to use it. And how do we use it? By knowing something better and believing in something better and giving it our good attention and praying for it and working for it. Bless what you have and bless what you see in others. I think I gotta mess myself up there. Hang on. No, that's all right. So how do we want to get our good into life? How do we want to bring it? Bless the good we have. And when you see good in others, bless that. If you want to see wealth, bless the wealth you see other people having. If you think they deserve it or not, that's none of your business. It's none of your business if they deserve it or not. Just bless the good that they have. If you want to see love, when you see somebody who's having wonderful love, bless that. If you want to see health, when you see someone experiencing good health or exercising, bless them. You know, at this time of year, sometimes in the middle of the day, you see people out running in this humidity soup, I call it. And I used to think to myself, what a crazy person to be out running in this humidity. I don't do that anymore. I see them out running and I think to myself, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that good that they're demonstrating good health? Because you see, by having that mentality, by having that attitude, I can attract to myself ways that I can exercise that will keep me healthy. And maybe not outdoors in this heat and humidity, but I can get a better idea of how I can live better. By calling them crazy, all I'm going to get for more of my life is more crazy. And I've got enough crazy to fill 2 family reunions. I don't need any more crazy. So let me lift my eyes to a better knowing for myself. Let's keep our eyes on the high watch and focus on the good we can do. To envision a better world for ourselves, our family, our friends. And a better world is coming, but it must come through us. It cannot come to us. We've got to grow ourselves into a new heaven and a new earth. And it can't happen as long as we're dwelling in fear and anger. As long as we dwell in fear and anger, the only thing we're going to get is more fear and anger. Those 2 emotions, they can't produce anything productive. They're great fundraisers. If you want to raise a lot of money, all you have to do is get into fear and anger. They're great ways to control people, but they don't do anything productive. You can control a lot of people with fear and anger, and we're seeing a lot of that right now, but it's a scary thing, and we need to move away from it. When we're investing in fear, we're just giving our energy away. It says you're actually praying the thing into your life when you're investing in fear. What's a prayer? A prayer is when you envision something in your mind and you inject emotion into it. What do you do when you're afraid about something? You constantly dwell on the thing you're afraid of, and you invest fear into it. Fear is one of the strongest emotions you can have. And so it's a really powerful way to bring something into your life that you don't want. One of my teachers would say, you're making something out of no thing. You're making something out of no thing that's going to take your energy and take your life. In Scripture it says, lo, the thing I feared the most is now upon me. Dr. Holmes, the founder of our teaching, he said, I know and understand good alone is real. Good alone is real. He didn't say God, he said good. Because God can be kind of difficult to understand. But we all know what's good in our lives, and we can focus on that and create more of that. The Dalai Lama said, kindness is my religion. So we want to seek out kindness, seek out compassion, and expand it as much as we can, and share as much as we can. Dr. Holmes says we're drawing into our experience every day an increasing share of truth and beauty and goodness and joy and harmony. Now, I know we're going through some tough times right now, but do not be dismayed. Don't turn back. And don't discount the good you can do. Every single one of us. Spirit is counting on you. It called you by name from stardust. And you are here for something wonderful and amazing and powerful. Dr. Holmes says, know yourself as a perfect instrument of life's divine symphony in tune with its harmony and perfection. He said, as light dispels darkness, so does truth dispel all fears. It breaks all chains of doubt. It casts out all uncertainty. It looses every sense of bondage, and it quickens our imagination with a vision of peace and joy and abundance. And we need a vision of peace, joy, and abundance. And we can have one. I know it seems like our nation is tearing itself apart, but the one thing that I want to share with you, I have a powerful intuition from Spirit that our nation is very close to achieving something really wonderful. We are stepping up to a more perfect union, and we're very close to it. We're not that far away. We are smart enough to get through this challenge, and we can do it. It's just a virus. We've conquered much worse in the past, and we're going to make it through this. We are fundamentally a good and decent people. We are. We've made mistakes. We've suffered tragedies. We've had setbacks. Yes, in our history, we have what is called the original sin of slavery. But you know what? The children of Israel had original sin in their history, but God supported them and brought them through Pharaoh's bondage. So we've had a long history, but we've kept our eyes on the prize for a more perfect union. When I was a young child, I remember sitting in front of our television. We only had one, and there was only one TV channel in Macon, Georgia. And Walter Cronkite would come on. And for some strange reason, even if I was a little kid, I would listen to him. And I remember exactly the broadcast where Dr. King came on, and he said that he prophesied that one day the children of slave owners and the children of slaves would one day go to the mountaintop of Stone Mountain, which at that time was known as a place of gathering for the Ku Klux Klan. And he said that they would one day be on that mountaintop and they would join hands and sing out in freedom song. Well, we are approaching that. I look out and when I see all the protests that are going on, I know for many people it's dismaying. But when I look, I see young people, both black and white, Jew and Gentile and Muslim, protesting and marching for something better. We're going up the rough side of the mountain, but we're on our way home, and we're almost there. Don't be dismayed. Don't be discouraged. Keep your eyes on the prize and know that God is calling us forth. This past week, I was really heartened by a story that I heard that came out of NASCAR. Now, I don't know anything about NASCAR. I think it's something that they go and run cars around a circle. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me, but I know a lot of people get really excited about it. Well, there's an African-American racer. His name is Bubba Wallace. That's a name for NASCAR, I'll tell you, Bubba Wallace. And he's African-American, and someone put a noose in his garage. And he complained about it, and NASCAR came out and said, we're not going to put up with this. We're not going to have this. And the next day, all of his fellow drivers and a large amount of the spectators for the race came and walked his car to the starting line. He was so overcome by this show of support that he could not even speak. We want to support one another. We want to love one another. We want to see the best in one another. And we're going to get there. We are a nation on the move. Yes, the night has been long, it has been dark, but the dawn of our prayers are breaking. The dawn of our dreams is breaking. On the horizon of our faith shines our God's love and support. And one day soon, and very soon, we are going to walk hand in hand in the cool of the evening with our greater possibilities. It's what we've come to do. We're not going to turn around. Spirit is calling us on. It's within every one of us to achieve. And I know it within every cell of my being. This is the truth in your life tonight. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Another song.
You're having a hard time and lately you don't feel so good. You're getting a bad reputation in your neighborhood. It's alright, sometimes that's what it takes. You're only human, you're allowed to make your share of mistakes. You better believe there will be times in your life when you'll be feeling like a stumbling fool. But take it from me, you'll learn more from your accidents than anything you can ever learn in school. Don't forget your second wind. Sooner or later you get your second wind. Ooh. It's not always easy to be living in this world of pain. Gonna be crashing into stone walls again and again. It's alright, do you feel your heartache? You're only human, you're supposed to make mistakes. It's like a boxer in a title fight, you got to walk in that ring all alone. You're not the only one who's made mistakes. They're the only things you can truly call your own. But don't forget your second wind. Sooner or later you get your second wind. Even keep it to yourself these days, because you're feeling everything's gone wrong. emotion can be so strong. But hold on till that old second wind comes along. You probably don't want to hear advice from someone else, but I wouldn't be telling you if I hadn't been there myself. It's alright, it's alright, sometimes that's what it takes. You're only human, you're gonna have to deal with heartache. I survived all those long, lonely nights when it seemed I did not have a friend. All I needed was a little faith so I could catch my breath and face the world again. Don't forget your second wind. Sooner or later you'll get your second wind. So don't forget your second wind. Sooner or later you'll feel that momentum kick in. Oh.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, I'm going to do this closing prayer in the first person. Take it in for yourself. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let that part slide by. If I say something that does work for you, hold tightly to that. So just join with me in this prayer and just know this truth with me tonight. There is only one God, one mind, and one power. That power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. And that power is showing up in my life here and now. It's showing up in my life through the beautiful music of Elizabeth. It's showing up in my life through the wonderful intelligence of May and ambition of May and the sparkle that she shows. It's showing up in my life as all these wonderful people that came out on this hot and humid night to support this ministry. And this is what I know that one power is calling me on to do. It's calling me on to lift my eyes to a greater knowing for myself. It's calling me to turn away from all the negativity of the news, the fear, the doubts, all of that stuff. And it is whispering to my heart and to my soul that I can be better. I can be more compassionate. I can be more kind, first of all to myself, and then to everyone else around me. Spirit is urging me to know something better for myself, for everyone around me, and for the world. Spirit is calling me on to lift my eyes up to a greater knowing. Yes, the night has been long, the shadows are there, but truth is bursting through all of that fear and doubt like the morning sun. And those fears and doubts cannot fight the radiance of God's love. This is my truth. I celebrate this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my dear friends, know this final truth with me. Your life is not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, to proclaim your miracle, and to make it your own. God bless us all. Now let's go be the miracle God has called us to be. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you next Sunday. God bless us all.